All right, we're still at the Gardner Standout, and Rich Bastien, former rep for Gardner, is here. Rich decided to come out on a day dressed almost as warm as me to talk about the increase in the gas tax.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We just saw my opponent the last election cycle. He made a pledge to the voters that he would not support any tax increase, and it took him less than 8 months in office to side with the Democratic Speaker and the special interests in Boston over his own taxpayers. Now,
Gardner here is center of the state. If you're going anywhere in the state from Gardner, you're going to be doing some driving, even though you're in the center, so that 3 cents a gallon plus indexing it to inflation is going to add up for Gardner residents.
Well, we keep hearing from people that sometimes the Republicans are interested in a war on the middle class. This is the war on the middle class. This is a tax hike that hurts people that are driving to work, trying to get to work, people that smoke cigarettes. This tax disproportionately affects the middle class and the working class more than any other tax hike we've seen in recent memory.
Now, it's very odd that there never seems to be an objection to these tax increases from the left. They're always supposed to help people. This is going to help the middle class, but as we've seen in Detroit, the higher property taxes and the higher taxes doesn't tend to draw people to a city, does it?
No, in fact, if you look around here, this gas price here right now is $3.79. We actually have some of the highest prices in the state right here in Gardner. And when we have a community that's 12 miles from the border of New Hampshire, the last thing we need to do is give people more of an incentive to do the rest of their shopping in New Hampshire. I want to see them doing their shopping right here in Gardner.
Now, Rich, obviously it's very, very early to be talking about 2014, but there's obviously going to be a race at that time. Do you think you'll be giving it another go and bringing this point up when the time comes?
It's August. It's very, very early to talk about that. At some point, I imagine later on this year, I'll sit down, I'll talk with my family, I'll talk with my friends, and we'll discuss it at that point here. But today, I'm here to focus on this tax hike and the fact that the Democratic rep that promised that he'd never vote to raise the tax 8 months into office went back on his word to his voters, and that's very disappointing.
Now, for the last word, obviously you're talking to me. Everybody knows I'm a conservative, although I'm not a Republican anymore. Everybody knows where I stand here. As we're being watched by the Democrats as well, do you have a message you'd like to give to the people who'll be watching the Democrat version of this film on that camera there?
Sure. Let's actually fix what's going on in Massachusetts. Let's actually take the Republican proposal that would have put more money into transportation without raising taxes, instead of always putting the burden of our MBTA and our out-of-control spending on the taxpayers of Massachusetts.
And Rich, if people want to find out more about you and what you think, where can they go?
Oh, I have my Facebook page. They can go there. They can go to the Gardner Republican City Committee has a website, and they can actually talk to the Republican State Committee at massgop.com.
Rich Bastien, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.